And welcome to the Davenport Coaches Show, our winter version, coming to you live from Uccello's in Caledonia, where we're here on Wednesday nights for the next 7 or 8 weeks. So glad you could join us here. We'll talk basketball tonight. I'm Rick Berkey, the head basketball coach on the men's side is here, Burt Paddock, and he's brought along a special guest, a player Jovan Tucker. Head coach from the women's side will join us a little bit later in the program. That's Coach Shonda Sanders, and Isabel Lindo, one of her players in the second half of the program. But right now we're going to talk men's hoops. Coach, let's talk about Monday night, a game where your team did so many things well, and it built up a double-digit lead. And it seemed like it was comfortable, but, hey, give all the credit in the world to Saginaw Valley. They came back, got it down to 1 point in the end, but you hung on to win it.
I'm glad you were comfortable over there, Rick, where you were sitting. Never comfortable as a coach. You're always worried about the next play and the next possession, and we give our kids a lot of credit. Built a double-figure lead in the first half. Got off to a really good start. One of our best starts we've had all season. Thought we shared the ball really well. Thought we played incredibly good defense against a really good offensive team. To only give up 30 points the first half. Felt really good about where we were at. Second half came out. I still thought we played pretty well offensively. Man, that little guy for them, though, he just got going. Their little point guard, he scored 30-some points against us, and he's just hard to contain. Once he gets going, it's hard to slow him down, and luckily we were able to find a way to make enough baskets, make enough plays for each other to find a way to get the win.
That was Freddie McIntosh with 35, and he also lit up Grand Valley for 30, so it wasn't a fluke, folks. He's who he is, and that certainly was a big deal. We talked before about it, talked a little bit after the game about it, though. I felt, and I think that you kind of felt the way, if you'd even broken even on the glass, you would have considered a major success because that was the number one rebounding team in the conference, and you out-rebounded it by 3.
Yeah, really excited about our strides that we've made on the glass, especially without Jakob playing still to this point. The last couple of teams we played in Wayne State and then coming back against Saginaw yesterday, 2 of the best rebounding teams in our conference, and for us to out-rebound both of those teams, it put us in a really good position for us to get an opportunity to win a basketball game. We were able to be able to get both of those wins. We've talked about that a great deal. We have to play good defense. We've played really good defense, but we haven't been able to finish plays for the first part of the season. And like I said, the last 10 days, 2 weeks, we've done a much better job with that. Just proud of our kids to kind of lighten the fire of them. They're kind of realizing our identities on the defensive end. We got to get stops. It really leads to offense, and it showed a lot on Monday night.
The guest that you brought along, Jovan Tucker, boy, he's really been coming on. Had 2 consecutive games with career highs, 14 on Saturday and then 15 more on and he also had a big 8 rebounds. He was a big part of that. When you get that from the guard, that really helps.
Well, he's so athletic. It's an interesting thing, Rick. People don't think about it. And everybody wants you to be just, you're going to be at the end of the season immediately. And teams grow and they find their ways. We have 8 new guys when we started this season. And then one of your best players goes down and you're constantly just trying to figure things out. When he first got here, he was going to be a wing player for us and a defensive stopper. And as time went along, you start to learn a little bit more about your players and kind of what fits they are and how they work together and stuff. Heck, about a month ago, we moved him over to play the point and moved Luke off the ball. And so that was a huge adjustment for those kids. And maybe that's partly our fault, but we just saw some things in him that thought he could get us playing a little bit faster, get guys involved a little bit better maybe. And, man, has he done a really good job with that. We were talking on the way over here tonight, and they're really feeling like he's starting to get really comfortable at the point guard position and understanding what plays we have and can call him out on the fly without us having to slow him down. Because, man, when he's in full speed, he is really hard to guard and to keep him in front of you. And when he does that, puts a lot of pressure on the defense and creates opportunity for the rest of his teammates. And just really excited about how he's played here the last couple of weeks.
He also knocked down a deep 3, and if he continues to attack the basket the way he does so well, as you mentioned, he doesn't have to make a lot of threes to make it have an effect.
Well, if he can shoot that 3 and they got to step out to get their heels on the 3-point line, good luck trying to keep him in front of you. The thing you mentioned there about him making those threes, and I told you before the season I thought we were going to be a good 3-point shooting team, but you probably thought I was lying to you until a couple weeks ago. I think we've started to take better shots. I think we're starting to trust each other a little bit more. We're starting to create opportunities not for ourselves but for each other, and I know that Miles put a really good pass on him. I know Licho had a really good pass to him, and when he's got his feet set and he's squared up, he can knock him down with anybody in our league. It's just it's hard to make sure we're taking the right ones, and I really, like I said, I felt really good about how we've played together as a unit the last couple of weeks.
You mentioned Marcides Leach, still your top scorer, one of the top in the league, but you alluded after the game about how he's being a little bit more selective, and he's picked up his defensive play.
Yeah, you know, he and I have had many discussions about the defensive end of the floor, and he really makes our team go. And it takes a while for an athlete to figure these things out, and he's always been a very gifted offensive player. He can score it, he can drive it, he's great at the free throw line, all those things, and he's so athletic. But I think the thing that's taken him a while to figure out is how important he is on the defensive end for us. When he's really focused and when he's in the right spots, it really energizes his teammates to follow suit and do the right things. And that's really shown in 3 of the last 4 games. And like I told him the other day, I said, you know, when you're focused like that on the defensive end, you played 38 minutes, and I don't bat an eye leaving you in there because you're that good and you create those opportunities for our teammates and you lead our group. And as long as he continues to guard like that, we'll have a lot of success going forward, and he'll play a lot of minutes.
Well, the challenge continues. Parkside comes in from Wisconsin Thursday night, 7:30 at the DU Student Center. We'll have the broadcast on DUPanthers.com. They're 8-9 and in a very deceptive 3-4 in conference play. We're not used to seeing Parkside below 500, but they've lost 2 games in overtime and 1 other by 3 points.
Yeah, Coach Riegel does a tremendous job with their team. They won the league last year and then got upset in the first round of the conference tournament. They had some kids sick, didn't get to play. Michigan Tech knocks them off. They were playing really well this year. They beat a couple crossover teams that are very good quality teams early in the year. And they've had some, you know, a guy or two on their team. They're trying to figure out their starting lineup. They lost a very good player from last year, and so they're trying to figure out their lineup still and have kind of fell on hard times. I think they've lost 3 in a row or something like that. But when you watch them play, man, they've got great point guard play. They've got good size. They've got one of the best 5 men in the league who steps out. Both of their 5 men step out and shoot threes like their guards, and so they bring a lot of challenges to you. Like I said, Coach Riegel's offense is really hard to guard. There's a lot of movement, a lot of actions, and they rarely take a tough shot. And so we're going to make sure we guard, not just play well on defense, but play well for long periods of time. Because, like I said, they're going to take that clock down. They're going to milk the clock and make you guard for long periods of time.
Combination for Coach Riegel's squad, number 10 in the league in scoring, but number 2 in scoring defense, and usually get a good defensive effort from the Rangers.
Well, they always do. They're just never in the wrong spots. They play incredibly hard. They don't give up layups. They're really good. When the shot goes up, they may not be one of the best offensive rebounding teams, but they're one of the best transition defensive teams. They get their guys back, and they make it really tough on you to score in the half court. And so it'll be a challenge for us. We got to make sure that we play really fast. We got to stir them up. We got to turn them over. We got to try to get out in transition. When we do that, we're really good.
All right, Coach, one quick 2 cents. We already talked a little bit about Jovan Tucker, but tell us about what caught your eye when you were recruiting him.
Well, he's just such a good athlete. It's kind of an interesting story, though. Greg Gary is the coach at Mercer University, and he grew up 15 minutes from me. He was good friends with my brother growing up. They played together, and I always used to go and watch him play. Well, long story short, he's the head coach at Mercer. That's where Jovan started out. Didn't work out quite like he wanted, wasn't the position. They wanted him to be a point guard, which at that time he wasn't. And so he ends up transferring to a junior college, and Coach Gary calls me and says, hey, man, you need to check out this player. I think he'd be really good for you guys. And so, man, it's good to have friends in this business. And, man, it really has worked out well for us so far. Super excited he's here. But you're thinking about what do we like about him. One, Coach Gary spoke very highly of him as a person, but he's just one of the best athletes that I've ever coached. And his vertical off the floor is incredible. His ability to get from one end to the other is about as fast as anybody I've ever coached. And when you have athletes like that, man, it makes your job as a coach a lot easier.
All right, we'll take a quick timeout, come back, and Jovan Tucker will join us here as we continue with the DU Panthers Coaches Show, the winter version from Uccello's in Caledonia. All right, try to get that microphone. See where it is, corner of my mouth where it comes together right there. Get it right to right where the joins the bottom and the upper lip together, right at the corner there. Perfect. Good job. Yep. You can hear me?
Yep.
All right, I can hear you. He'll give us the okay in just a minute.
Okay.
Khalid. We continue with the DU Panthers Coaches Show. I guess you were here before us, but we're here now to join us. Rick Berkey along with Jovan Tucker, the 6'3 junior from Chicago, who joins us right now. And Coach talked a lot about all the things you've done so far, and you've really been coming on. The last 2 games especially, Jovan, you really picked it up. Career high in points. You had a career high 8 rebounds. What's been the difference for you? How have you been able to pick that up the last 2 games so much more?
I just feel like our team needed a little bit more. I was there defensively, but I feel like I needed to pick it up a little bit more offensively so we can, score more points because we've been lacking that. So I've been trying my best. Shots been falling, and my confidence just been rising.
I hear you had some family here Monday night. That certainly helped. Tell us about that.
My dad and my 2 big brothers, they came to support me. They're my biggest supporters, and I love them for it.
That's great to have a performance like that in front of the family like that as well. Coach talked a little bit about when he brought you in here, he saw you more as a wing, but then moved to point guard. That's been kind of a theme for your career so far. Where you've gone, there's been a little bit uncertainty about where they want to play you.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of a two-way player, and I'm very athletic and kind of big to be a point guard, so I played point guard at the JUCO I went to before I came
Central
here.
Georgia Tech.
Yep.
Yep.
And I felt comfortable with it. So he saw me as a wing, and he played me at the wing for a little bit before he put me to a point guard position. So I could do both, man, and I'll do whatever to help the team win.
All right, high school ball in Chicago. McEachern, am I saying that right?
McEachern.
Yeah. Okay, McEachern High School in Chicago. Tell us about the level of play in your high school and your high school coach and what he meant to you developing.
McEachern, I was in Georgia.
Sorry, that's from high school. You moved to Atlanta, that's right.
Yep, I definitely moved to Atlanta. I moved there by myself, basically. I lived with my uncle and my aunt. They taught me a lot about discipline and a lot about hard work and how hard work pays off. So I worked very hard while I was in Georgia. I wasn't as good of as a player as while I was in Chicago. So I just upped my game up and got interest. And
tell us about the development of you being that far from home, from family and friends, everybody up north.
It was hard. I was basically by myself, so I had to, toughen up and grow up kind of fast. So it was fun. I developed into I got athletic out of nowhere, man. I was like, wow. So my athleticism really helped me in basketball for real.
Well, back to family. I understand your brother is quite a rapper.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not in the rapping scene, so tell us about him. And he's making quite a name for himself, I hear.
Yeah, he's definitely big in Chicago and Atlanta. He's been rapping for a few years now. And
what's his name?
Big Bank Bands.
Say it again.
Big Bank Bands.
Big Bank Bands.
Yeah.
All right. Good. We'll keep an eye out for Big Bank.
Yeah.
With that as well. You still have a lot of family back in the Chicago area?
Mm-hmm. Yep. My mom and my grandmothers and my sister still live there.
Okay. How often are you able to get back during the school year back home?
Not too often. I definitely go to Georgia to spend most of the holidays with my dad and my big brother there. But whenever I can get to Chicago, which is closer now, I'm closer to Chicago now, I definitely will.
Tell us about your life at Davenport, what you like about Davenport, both on the court. Well, on the court we know, but tell us a little bit about that, but more about off the court, what you like about being a student here.
I definitely love Davenport. They really love their students. It's very friendly around here, peaceful, and it's very peaceful. That's the main thing, really. I just love how peaceful it is and how I can get my work done whenever I want, and just a lot. It's just a good small space for me to get stuff done for.
What do you do to chill out on your own? Besides basketball and school, what do you do for your own personal enjoyment?
I play video games.
Who do you your roommates? Who are your roommates?
TJ, Licho, and Yak.
And I'm going to ask the question because I ask it. I usually get the same answer. Who's the best video game player in your apartment there?
It's me, definitely me.
See that?
I'm sorry.
It happens all the time. They always say it's me.
It is. It definitely is. Now I feel like they'll agree.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about this team, Jovan. Again, we've seen flashes of it through much of the season, but there's also been 2 extended flashes of downtime, and I think the last couple games, I thought, sparked by you, especially in the second half of that game Saturday at Lake State, and then most of the game Tuesday. Seems like you're figuring some things out as a team. What do you think?
I feel like our team right now, I feel like our chemistry is getting better. We're getting more comfortable with each other. We're learning each other's tendencies, and that's big. I feel like whenever we lock in and play together, we're unbeatable. Like, I know the record doesn't show that, but our confidence is building. We got 4 home games coming up, and I feel like we can win all 4 and get up leaderboards.
You're a sport management major.
Yep.
What are you thinking, or what would you like to do with that when your basketball days are done?
I don't know yet, but when I'm done with my major, I'm pretty sure I'll figure out.
Okay, whatever you do with your life, do you want to go back to Atlanta? Do you want to go back to Chicago? Do you want to stay in West Michigan? Where do you want to live as far as lifestyle?
Well, I definitely would want to live in Georgia, man. The weather is really good out there.
Funny you should say that.
Yeah, so I still got family out there. I think most of my family is relocating to Georgia anyway, so I would definitely want to live in Georgia.
Well, good. Well, hey, we're certainly glad we have you here, and not only this year, we got it. Next year, we got you again, and keep working hard. And you've been a real spark for this team, and you become a favorite of the announcing team. I'll tell you that right now.
Yes,
we both smile when you are on the floor out there.
Thank you, man.
Jovan Tucker, great to have him here. We'll take a break, come back with the women's head basketball coach, Shonda Sanders, as we roll on with the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia. And we're back, the DU Coaches Show, coming to you live from Uccello's in Caledonia. Rick Berkey along with Shonda Sanders, the head women's basketball coach at DU. And, Coach, you're in a tough time of the schedule physically, 5 games in 10 days, and, sparse by that makeup game Monday. But you did have, finally, Saturday. Let's talk a little bit about Saturday's big win at Lake State, 60-58, a thriller that had 10 lead changes and 9 ties. You're not going to have much of a tighter game from start to finish in that one. And your girls finally got paid off with a win.
Yeah, and I felt like we stuck with our game plan most of the game, and that's what kept us in there. And down the stretch, I mean, if you look at the box scores, a lot of people don't look at the box scores in every category, but I looked at it in first, second, and third. First quarter, second quarter, we was 100% from the free throw line. And then third quarter, we only missed 1. So going into the fourth quarter, we were shooting like 95%. And then we go 3 for 10 in the fourth quarter at 30%, which we missed 5 key free throws at the end where we wouldn't even have to be at that position we were in if we just made them. So then was like little things. It was like, all right, we still got things to work on, but it was just happy to have a win.
It certainly was, and like I said, another part of that strange stat sheet there was you missed we talked with you about it after the game. You missed your first 11 threes, took one more in the final 2 minutes, but it was a big one by Ellie Tony, and she knocked it down.
Yeah, and it was huge, and, I mean, it was drawn up for we kept saying that they were sagging on you, and we just kept saying, run the shot clock down, and then if we keep making them play defense, they're going to help off of you, and once they do, be ready to shoot and knock it down, and she was.
All right, then you came back Monday night against a good Saginaw Valley squad, and they full court pressed you from start to finish. Did you think they wore you down as they pulled it away, or was it more other type of factors?
No, I think it was other factors, because last year we struggled with that press, especially when we played them at Saginaw the second time. We struggled really bad. I think we almost had like 30 turnovers. And we didn't turn the ball over a lot during the press. We were breaking it with ease. We were getting it to the middle. We was getting across court. The thing with us is our girls, we were getting into our sets too long. It was taking us too long to get into the flow of the set because we kept looking for our point guard to just set up the play instead of the guards just getting right into it. And I felt like the moments when we did, that is why we had like the lead when we had, or when we did get it down to 6 points in that point, is because we was getting in the flow of our offense easier. But at moments we just wasn't, and in them times when we went on them rants of not scoring, that's when they were going on 11-0 runs or 13-0 runs.
Yeah, no, those are big long-term when it all comes down. One of the highlights from that game, at least for me, was seeing McKenna Bryant make that shot from half court just before the halftime bar. Did you draw up that play?
Well, the thing is, when I was in college, we will always play this game called relay. And for your team to win, you have to make a half-court shot. So our girls haven't played that game a while because we do it every shoot-around. It's just something for fun and shoot-around. And we haven't done it in a long time. So they asked to play it before that day, and Kenna made the half-court shot.
In practice?
In practice that day for her team to win in shoot-around. Same way, same. So when she made it, I wasn't surprised. And I'm like, we do this all the time.
I think you're going to do it every
game.
So
now we'll just keep doing it because you never know when you need a half-court shot.
All right, let's talk a little bit of Parkside. They come in tomorrow 5-2 in league play, 10-5 overall. Mm-hmm. Number one offensive team in the GLIAC, 77 points a game.
Yeah, they score the basketball. That's one thing they do. They're a running team. Even if you score, they're getting that ball out quick and pushing it up the court and trying to score fast. They run a 5-out offense where everybody could shoot threes. Anybody could post up. Anyone could drive. So it kind of keeps you spread it out. But they're just looking to score quick. So our game plan is just to try to just slow them down and wear them down with picking up early.
You brought along Isabel Lindo, your freshman from the Lansing area. Mm-hmm. Tell us about what caught your eye when you were recruiting her and what things stood out as far as saying, I want her in my program.
One thing was she was a triple threat. Watching her during AAU, she could shoot the three, she could get into her pull-up, she could get to the basket, and then she was also a combo guard. If I need her to run point guard, she could run point guard. If I need her to be on the wing, she can. And then it was another thing, she was a lockdown defender. When she wanted to be, when I saw her, she was one that a lot of people don't sit down and get in a stance no more defensively, and Izzy would get down and sit in the stands and would pick you up full and make you work. So that was just another thing, especially with how we want to change the culture and do things here. She was someone where it's like, okay, a foundation, that's a foundation kid that you'll need.
You mentioned seeing her in AAU ball as well as in high school. Mm-hmm. Do you look at those equally when you evaluate a player, or is there one you favor more than the other? Because they're quite different in terms of how they play in their season.
It's kind of even. So AAU, yes, you see more out of them. You kind of see more how will they be in college in AAU, because AAU, of course, is more like up and down, a lot of pressing, a lot of men. And then when you get to high school, it's not a lot of talent. Probably on your team, you're probably the best player, so you're probably playing zone. You're probably getting double teamed and face guarded. But high school shows you a lot. It shows you things that you don't pay attention to when you watch them in AAU. Like, okay, how are they responding to their teammates that's not so good if they're not catching the ball? How are they responding when a coach takes them out and it's not their fault? How are they responding when they get double teamed? Are they just sitting there letting themselves get double teamed, or are they working hard, still trying to get to the ball, get the win for their team? So you get to see a lot of the small things you don't see in AAU. So that kind of helps with recruiting too, to know the attitude of the kid. All
right. Well, Coach, we're going to bring Isabel in here just a second. Good luck tomorrow against Parkside, 5:30 at the DU Student Center. Get out there, cheer them on. If you can't, tune in to Flow Sports Production. We'll take one more break, come back with more of the DU Panthers Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia.
Thank you.
And our final segment of the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia. Don't forget to stop out sometime, anytime out here. Boy, I tell you what, they've got the multiple screens, great staff, and fantastic food. If you don't already, you've got to try it out. Uccello's in Caledonia, right on the Beltline, and right between 76th and 84th Street. So check that out. Our final guest is Isabel Lindo, a freshman from Hazlet, Michigan. Went to Hazlet High School right now, had a fantastic high school career. Four-time all-conference player at Hazlet High, and made the Lansing State Journal Dream Team there as well. She's averaging 8 points, 2.5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal a game. First of all, Isabel, let's talk about what drew you to Davenport. When you first were contacted by Coach and learned a little bit about the school, what stood out to you in that decision?
I just loved the campus. I thought the facilities were awesome, and then I really liked Coach Sanders and Coach Dom. I just liked their, coaching philosophy, and they just had a lot of faith in me, so I just felt like I would fit in well here.
When you came to the campus, you mentioned you really liked how it looked and everything. How much did you put on the type of team they had, the players coming back and so on? Did you get a chance to meet players before you committed to Davenport?
Yeah, I actually played AAU for Michigan Mystics, which is where a couple of the sophomores had played. So I was familiar with them and friends with them. So I kind of talked to them throughout the recruiting process and got to spend some time with them and some of the older girls on the team.
Going back to your high school days, or even beyond, maybe even younger than that, who was a key person in developing you as a basketball player?
I would have to say probably my parents, or I worked a lot with former Michigan State player Kyle Ahrens, and so he really helped me in transitioning from high school to the college level.
Tell us about your family back in the Lansing area and how they've supported you through all the years.
Yeah, so I have two parents. I'm definitely from a basketball family. So my mom actually played at Grand Valley for 4 years. And then I have an older brother, Isaac, who played throughout high school and just definitely kind of pushed me throughout the years to be better and to be tougher.
We talked with Coach about it. The team before a week ago, you had good segments in every game as a team, but there was always seems to be this black hole. It jumped up, and all of a sudden the other team went on 11-0 or 13-1 run. Finally, though, you got past it Saturday and got that big overtime win. How did that feel, finally getting that first league win?
I think it definitely was just encouraging for us to just kind of, truly believe and, that we can do this and we are capable of winning. And so to, have some success, I think we're hoping to build off that.
What area does the team as a group need to work on more so you get more of those league wins, do you think?
I think mostly just consistency and just everybody, playing their role to the best of their ability. So as we figure out, how to play together, I think just continuing to compete and trust the process.
And what about you, individual, Isabel? Not only as a player, where do you have to get better this year and maybe even during the off season going into next year?
I think just figuring out different ways to help the team, whether that's, having to guard the other team's best player or, finding different ways to score and, just any way I can really contribute on either end of the floor, just continuing to get better and to be more vocal as well.
What do you think your biggest strength is as a player right now?
I would say probably my biggest strength and something I've worked on a lot is just being able to score at all three levels. So, being able to make a mid-range shot, make a three, and finish at the rim.
You're only 1 year into your college days, but are you thinking about after college what you'd like to do with your life? You're a sport management major, but are you thinking at all about post-school?
Yeah, I really want to stay around sports, so in whatever that way it is, whether it's, an administrative position or I'm really interested in social media, so maybe doing something with, that or videography, broadcasting, just something to stay involved.
Thought about coaching at all?
I've gone back and forth on it a little bit, but I want to be a mom for sure, so I'm not sure if that's something that, I can manage my time as a parent.
Coaches can be moms.
Yes,
it can happen.
It's
challenging, but
yes,
it can work
sure.
out. Who are your best friends on the team? They all are, but tell us about your roommates and what it's like in your own little living quarters.
In our room? Oh, wow. Well, we have a lot of personality in our room for sure.
Who do you have?
So I live with the other three freshmen on the basketball team, Zaria, Jada, and Amaya. And then we live with a girl on the track and field team, Ariana.
So what does the group do outside of what do they do for fun as a group? Your room.
Let's see. We like to go and do stuff a lot of the time, so whether we're just going out to eat or shop or going to movies. We spend a lot of time together and with the other girls on the team.
All right. Well, it's great having you here, Isabel. We look forward to more good things from you on the floor and off the court as a student. Thanks for joining us, and good luck tomorrow against Parkside.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, that'll wrap up our DU Panthers coaches show from Uccello's in Caledonia. We'll be back here next Wednesday. You always can stop out and watch the show if you like here. Otherwise, you can always tune in, DUPanthers.com YouTube channel. That'll do it. So for our special guests, both coaches and players from each side, Rick Herkey saying thanks for joining us.